ανtíδοτο στην κρίση. Μπορεί να δημιουργήσει μια δυναμική και κυρίως μπορεί να δημιουργήσει ένα σημείο αναφοράς, ένα στοιχείο κοινωνικής και πολιτιστικής συσπήρωσης. Κυρίες και κύριοι, με τη συνθήκη της Λισαβόνας, μια καινούργια σελίδα άνοιξε για την Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση. Μια καινοτομία είναι η θεσμοθέτηση του ύπατου εκπροσώπου για την εξωτερική πολιτική και την ασφάλεια. Ένα έργο δύσκολο, του οποίου η υλοποίηση απαιτεί επικεφαλής μια προσωπικότητα με όραμα, με ικανότητα σύνθεσης. Ένα έργο το οποίο ανατέθηκε στην Ashton, γιατί ακριβώς έχει αυτές τις προϋποθέσεις και αυτά τα χαρίσματα. Όχι μόνο γιατί υπήρξε μια σημαντική επίτροπος σε θέματα εμπορίου, αλλά γιατί έχει την ικανότητα να διαχειρίζεται δύσκολα πολιτικά ζητήματα, να διαπραγματεύεται αποτελεσματικά και κυρίως να επιτυγχάνει τις αναγκαίες συνθέσεις και ισορροπίες. Υπάρχει όμως και ένα πρόσθετο στοιχείο που σας χαρακτηρίζει, κυρία Άστον. Είναι ότι έχετε μια διαφορετική, προοδευτική θα έλεγα αντίληψη όσον αφορά την εξωτερική πολιτική. Γιατί δίνεται σημασία σε ορισμένες παραμέτρους που συνδυάζονται με την εξωτερική πολιτική και λειτουργούν οριζόντια, όπως τα ανθρώπινα δικαιώματα, η ανθρωπιστική παρέμβαση, όπως η αλληλεγγύη, όπως το περιβάλλον. Θα μου επιτρέψετε να προσθέσω και μια άλλη διάσταση που ίσως χρειάζεται να την αναδείξουμε ακόμη περισσότερο στο μέλλον. Αφορά με την ανάπτυξη της ευρωπαϊκής πολιτιστικής ταυτότητας, της εθνικής ταυτότητας της Ευρώπης. Η ευρωπαϊκή ταυτότητα χρειάζεται, πιστεύουμε, να αναπτυχθεί. Και επειδή συνδέεται έμεσα ή άμεσα με τον πολιτισμό, νομίζω, όχι αυτό θεωρητικά, αλλά πρακτικά, μπορεί να αποτελέσει ένα ισχυρό εργαλείο για την άσκηση μιας ευφυούς, αποτελεσματικής και οραματικής εξωτερικής πολιτικής. Με αυτές τις λέξεις, θα ήθελα ακόμη μια φορά να σας ευχαριστήσω, κύριε Πρόεδρε, για την παρουσία σας, κυρίες και κύριοι, αγαπητές και αγαπητοί φίλοι, και να παρακαλέσω την κυρία Άστον να λάβει το λόγο.
Mr. Prime Minister, President, colleagues and friends, it's very nice to be here in this wonderful city, which for me resonates with history, with culture, with ideas, and I'm especially pleased to be in this fantastic building where, in a sense, culture comes together. And tonight we're able to perhaps add to that with some thoughts and ideas about the issues that affect Europe. I'm particularly honoured to be a guest speaker of what is a very distinguished Megaron Plus lecture and exhibition series. And as I began, I'm extremely pleased to be here among friends, with people with whom I'm looking forward to having the chance to share some ideas. I came here this afternoon from Strasbourg, from the European Parliament, where the vote took place today to establish the External Action Service from a parliamentary perspective. As you know, the Lisbon Treaty came into being a few months ago, and as I sat there, me and a desk and a chair and the treaty, I wondered how long it would take us to move from the bare bones of ideas into the reality of the treaty. And today, in what was, I'm pleased to say, a resoundingly positive vote, we took a big decision that will help us move forward with the Council and with the European Commission to establish the service. But last week I was in India talking with Prime Minister Singh and with other leaders on how increasingly important that country is and how we could broaden and deepen our collaboration in the world. When I leave your country, I will go on to Turkey, to Georgia, to Kazakhstan and on to the Middle East. So the pace of what we need to do in Europe is relentless. The job at hand is quite enormous. For the demands for Europe to play a distinctive international role are growing. And we're all doing this in what is very much still a transition phase when it comes to having the right structures, the right people in place, even the right procedures that will help us to shape and implement the policies on behalf of the European Union across the world. I think in that context of relentless pressure, of constant change, it's very important that we have occasions like this when, in a sense, I can take a step back and reflect on where we come from, where we are and where I think we're headed. And that's what I want to try and do tonight, to talk about Europe's global role after the Lisbon Treaty. I'll do it in roughly 3 parts. First, by reminding ourselves what the basic rationale is for wanting a stronger EU foreign policy. Secondly, to try and describe for you how the Lisbon Treaty makes a positive difference. And third, where my current policy priorities are, including the areas and the issues that I'm thinking about, and which I suspect are very much at the centre of your thinking as well. So first, the rationale, the case for a stronger EU foreign policy. To do that, we have to look at the world around us, and that's not easy. This is a world that is growing in complexity. There's not a single narrative or a template. We had the narrative of the Cold War. When some spoke about the war on terror, that gave us a kind of organising principle for conducting foreign policy. But if there's one dominant trend now, I would argue it's globalisation. It's not just an economic phenomenon, it's also a political one. These days, security threats, technology breakthroughs, the redistribution of political power are all global, both in their nature and in their consequences. The trouble is that people's identity and the resources to tackle global problems remain largely national. And I think it's a mismatch that explains why tackling today's problems can sometimes seem so difficult. One big consequence of political globalisation is the power shift that we're seeing, roughly from the Old West to the new powers in the East and the South. You see and you feel it everywhere. From big energy deals in Africa or Central Asia, to discussions on Iran, to the global negotiations on trade or on climate change. In many respects, the rise of the new powers is the outcome of a victory of our model of open markets and, we hope, of increasingly open societies. It's perhaps, in a way, the triumph of Western values and principles, not of their decline. But it's no longer our world, and we have to adapt. And to do so, we have to do it rapidly, with both generosity towards the new powers and with creativity when it comes to how we organise ourselves in Europe. For me, the best answer as Europeans to this globalised world is a double realisation. First, that we need a big market with a robust currency to secure our economic future. And second, we need a big weight to defend our political vision. For saying that we live in a multipolar world is surely correct, but multipolar is not the same as multilateral. We Europeans have a strong interest in a strong multilateral system based on the rule of law that's capable of addressing the big issues of our time: an open economy, real action on non-proliferation, climate change. Just 3 examples of many. We can't afford to be isolationist, and we can't do it each on our own. We are stronger if we act together, and that's where the European Union comes in. I describe the European Union at its heart as a giant conflict resolution machine that enables member states to tackle cross-border problems on the basis of agreed rules. As it happens, it's also a pretty good description of what global governance should be all about. So we need the European Union not just for us in Europe, but also as a vehicle to act in a fast-changing world and to influence its direction with our ideas. Apart from the power shift, the other consequences of globalisation is that problems are more and more interconnected. Take regional conflicts, problems of scarcity, energy and climate, water. These are all interlinked. Maybe it's better to talk about conflict constellations than about threats, as we used to. And again,